We'll give you a taste ahead of who we are and what we do. Do you understand? That's what this whole thing is about, that to give you a taste ahead of who we are and what it is that we do, right? So that's why I'm doing this. Lastly, before I just get this party going on fully, can you please click on in the chat room? I want you to please click on the attendance, everybody. All right, please, if you don't mind, everybody, there's an attendance link in the chat room. Please, can you click on it? Can you click on it, please? Right? Can you click on it? And yeah, it would be nice to know who attended for each of the days. So if you don't mind, put your name and all your details in there as it is. Okay. Um, so don't become one of those cybersecurity people that are more interested in qualifications and in posing as cybersecurity experts in comparison to people who actually do cybersecurity. Do you understand? So you should be somebody that actually does the work, not somebody who's posing to do the work. That's extremely important. I cannot over stress that. That's because, as I said, I see a lot of people who pose that they do the work, right? But they are not actually doing the work. So, and that's why, despite all the education and the qualifications that we have, a lot of our organizations are still suffering from serious cybersecurity attacks, despite and in spite of all the qualifications that people have, in spite of all the master's degrees and all those kinds of things that people have, they're still suffering when it comes to cybersecurity. So please note that cybersecurity is not a qualification. Cybersecurity is I mean, qualification and training and education sessions like this are definitely a part of it, but that's not all what it's about. Cybersecurity is also not just about um, it's also not just about you knowing how to use some tools. Tools are very important, but that's not all there is to it. Cybersecurity is not just about documentation. The documentation is great, but that's not all there is to it. So it's a combination of many things. It is indeed a combination of many things. So as you all go ahead to become global cybersecurity experts, it's good for you to get education, but you need expertise and skills, right? And it's good that you note that you need expertise and skills. And it's good for you to get experience, but it's also extremely important for you to get exposure. Are we all together? It's good that you're adequately exposed to how things are done in different places by different people, different approaches to different things as it is. And all of us need to ensure that both as individuals and the organizations that we serve, everybody, that we build in this concept of counter fragility, right? So organizations, we as individuals, we need to be strong, we need to be resilient, we need to be effective, efficient, we need to be adaptable and even proactive. And if I could pray for you, I'll pray that this will, your organization, especially when it comes to information security, will be known by these 6 characteristics. Imagine your own organization, your bank, your fintech, your insurance company, whatever that entity is known or denoted or characterized by these 6 things: that you're strong, that you're resilient, that you're efficient, you're adaptable, and that you are proactive. That's what that's what I wish and definitely hope and pray, that your organization takes these things into keen consideration. That you will be, this will be the characteristics of your organization, because that is really what cybersecurity and the advanced concept called cyber resilience, everybody. Cybersecurity and even the advanced concept called cyber resilience, this is what your organization is meant to be doing. And I'm hoping that, indeed, that will be the case as it is. So please, once again, note these things, take them into keen consideration as you go ahead with all the other things that you are doing, and as you build the right skills and the right capabilities that you will take these things into consideration. Let me move on very quickly. Okay, so there are many standards for information security, everybody. Okay, there's a slide I need to put here. I don't think I put it in, but hold on. Right, okay, hold on. Right. I can tell you, right? I can put it in the chat room. So everybody, there are many standards for information security, but if you go to the chat room, my top 5, everybody, please, I hope you have a notebook, right? So that you can write some of these things down, and you can even open the browser as we speak, right? So when it comes to information security, these are the top 5 for me, okay? And I'll explain what I mean by /2, right? PCI DSS, I find that to be very interesting. There's something called NIST 853. There's another thing called NIST, the CSF 2.0. And lastly, there's something called the CIS controls V8. These are my top 5 for information and cybersecurity. Doesn't mean this is all. These are just my top 5, and I've captured them in the chat room. So does anybody have any other thing that they like, right? So majority of this training, because I mean, I only have 2 hours, but I'm doing information security both today and tomorrow. So I don't think you should worry too much about it, right? I'm going to do this for today and tomorrow, and then I'll move on to other things on other days, all right? So these are my top 5. Doesn't mean that, that this is all. So if you say you want to do information security, and cybersecurity, you need to be familiar with at least 2 or 3 of this. Okay, there are others, right? There are others. So I said in that class we're going to be doing something on OWASP, which all right. So top 10 for web and even for mobile, right? 2 different things. That's also very important. I hope you're opening, like you can open a browser so that when I put some of these things here, you can look at it. In terms of a methodology, there are many other ISO standards. So for example, when we're doing cloud security, we use something called the CSA Cloud Guidance version 5. It's available free. And then there is an ISO standard called 27017 that we also use when it comes to cloud security. So these are all very important things. You can't really say you're doing information security, you don't know what these things are, you don't know why they exist, you don't know how they can help your own organization. I don't think you'll be on the right page. And lastly, the number 1 tool that I think everybody that does information security, especially the ones that have a technical, should I say, head or background or capability, right? Yeah, Kali Linux. So everybody, you can open a browser for Kali Linux, right? Or interest, yes. So if you're interested in the technical side of things, that can go in there and look at it. Kali Linux. All right. I hope you can see. So these are some of the key things that if you say you're doing information security, you should be familiar with. In every kind of information security, there's also the concept of risk, right? Like the concept of information security risk, right? And some COVID practices help relative to that. And even there's an ISO standard called 27005. Are we together? Okay. So these things that are put in the chat room, if you really want to be better than I am, greater than I am, you become the kind of person that even I will have to sit down with you and say, sir, can you please explain these things to me? And they're going to be somebody who can help organizations. You've got to be familiar with these things, and then you have to know exactly why did they apply, why are they important, right? Why did they apply, why are they important, and things like that. Okay. 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 Good, good, good. So I hope that that is useful, everybody. All right. So please, you can also give me your thoughts in the chat room. Let me know if people are following me. Give me your thoughts. So which of these things have you heard of? Anybody? Which of them have you heard of before? I've mentioned how many things? 5 things on line one, line two different things because the documentation for us is different. All right. So cloud security is very important. The cloud CSA cloud guidance, you can open the link. It's new. It came out towards the end of last year. That's important. And then, I mean, for me, because this information security has got the part that is technical, and it also has the part that is not technical. It's both ways. Information security has the part that is technical, and it also has the part that is not technical. Okay. So, but an organization cannot get it right if they don't take into consideration both the technical and the non-technical part. So it's got to be both. You can't say information security for us is just non-technical. That's useful, but that's not full information security, right? You can't also say that, oh, I'm only interested in the technologies and the platforms. That also won't be full information security. It's both ways. It's both ways. All right. So can I hear from others? Can I hear from others? Absolutely. Can I hear from others, please? All right. The people that are in care that are here in Nairobi, I will be hosting drinks on Friday. So it'll be nice. We're going to have a cybersecurity hangout on Friday evening. We'll let you know the location, but yes, we're definitely having information and cybersecurity hangout. So can I hear from people? Which of these things have you heard from or heard about? And which of them are you familiar with? Which of them are you even interested in? As I've been talking about them, about 10 different things here already, 5 plus OAuth, there are 2 different ones. Cloud security, there are 2 different things there too. That's already like 9. Kali Linux like 10. Information security risk is already like 2. So about 12 things here. I have mentioned about 12 things here. Okay. I have mentioned about 12 different things here. So which of these things do you know? Which of them are you comfortable with? Which one? All right. Okay, good. Pentest course. Absolutely. Great, Ezra. All right. Any other person? Have you heard of some of these platforms, some of these tools, some of these methodologies? Right? Information security is a combination. All right. Okay. Brilliant. 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 Thank you very much, Jackie. Okay, good. Eric, Ezra, brilliant. Okay. Can I hear from 2 or 3 more persons very quickly so that I can go into some other things? Let me just quickly hear from 2 or 3 other people. As I said, this classes are always very conversational, right? So I'm going to need you to please respond to me, talk to me. Let's make sure that we're communicating appropriately. All right. So um, now, can also somebody tell me, and I know all of you have ChatGPT and WhatsApp AI, but really, what is the difference between information security and cybersecurity? Are they the same? Are they the same? Information security versus cybersecurity. Anybody? Are they the same? Information security versus cybersecurity. Are they the same? Are they the same? Are we referring to the same thing? Are they the same? Anybody? Tell me. Haha. Equator says that, do you agree? Others, ha ha ha. Right? So, what's the difference between information security and cybersecurity? Which is the bigger umbrella? Ha 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 ha. That's an interesting one. That's very interesting. Which is the bigger umbrella? Which is bigger? Judith. Ha 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 ha. I don't. Aha, Penny, Penny Osasolo. So I'm not sure I agree with. I'm not sure I agree with the people that say the, Cornelius Simi says that information security is the bigger bucket. All right. Juma says, well, rest data, well, cybersecurity, which is the bigger bucket? Cybersecurity, Eric says, encompasses a broader scope. Ha, are you sure? Eric, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with you. I'm not sure I can say you're right. Right. Simon says that information security is bigger. All right. Eric says we should Google it. Sometimes we can't even trust some of those things that come out of Google. Right. Um, Benjamin also says that information security is a subset of cybersecurity. Woo! Anne says information security is brother. Cybersecurity is wholesome, Garacha. Is how we secure information, the protection of this. Eldred, well, absolutely. Femi, I mean, if you look at what Femi has said here, Femi says information is encompasses both the protection of both digital and non-digital, and I think he's right. Right, all right. I think he's right. Right. Mohammed also says that information security is umbrella while cybersecurity is a subset. I think I also agree with him. Ifedaya says the same thing. Winnie says cybersecurity is a subset of information security. I also agree with Winnie. Right. So, and I think I should be able to prove this. Right. During the course of this week. So by the time we go through today, uh, uh, tomorrow, Wednesday, by the time we get to by the close of business on Thursday, which should be clear to us, which is the bigger bucket. It should be clear to us, which is the bigger bucket. Well, yeah, so we'll do that, and I guess that's why we're all here. That's why we're all here. Okay, let me move on very quickly. Let me move on. Okay, I don't want to start from here. Let me start from good, good, good. So everybody, right? So who are those that can confidently sit in front of an audience, especially some audience that has both technical and non-technical people in there, and can articulate, especially to the business, right? They can articulate the concept of CIA. And in modern day, I like to add P to it. I like to add P to it, right? So information security, take it from me, I should know, right? The information security is the bigger bucket. Cybersecurity is a subset of information security. Information security is broad, it's wide. So there is, so you can go online. So ISO 27001 is for information security. ISO 27032 is for cybersecurity. And even if you go online, everybody, there used to be a documentation, and I know it's somewhere, that talks about the mapping, right, of ISO 27001 to how do you map the controls in ISO 27001? How do you map the controls to ISO 27032? 27032, and maybe somebody find the thing, you can look for it. The mapping, everybody, mapping ISO 27001 to ISO 27032, and you'll find out that if you have not, I was sending it to Ajibola. I was meant to have been sending it to everybody. Sorry, group chat, meeting group chat. Sorry, good. I was sending a direct message. So be careful, okay, that you're not sending a direct message, or you're sending a message to the group. Okay, good. The mapping of ISO 27001 to 27032. You'll find out that in reality, if you have not yet implemented 27001, you will struggle to implement 27032. Did you hear that? If you have not yet implemented 270001, you're going to struggle to implement 270032. In fact, the expectation is that ISO 27001, it should be the foundation for ISO 27032 and that other one called NIST, CSF. So we're going to look at those things. We're going to look at them. We'll look at them before the end of the week, right? So that's important. Now, who are those? So I was going to do something here. Let me do something here. So I was going to add the fourth leg of the table in modern day, which is now privacy, which is now the conversation around privacy. So tell me, right? Tell me. So these privacy is the other leg in modern day. So we call this the tenets. We call these things the tenets of information security. And I think that's where it starts. The right? The what I would like to call the client specific interpretation and application of CIAP to their own business and organizational environment, just for the lack of words to use, so to speak, right? So how do we do this? Anybody? Client-specific interpretation and application of CIAP to their own business and organizational environment, their business, their organizational, and even, let me say, IT environment. Okay. Okay. So who are those that are comfortable? Because this is the beginning of information security, that you can articulate CIAP, right? You can articulate confidentiality, integrity, availability based on, we're not talking about the textbook definition now. We're not talking about the definition that allows you to be able to pass an exam or anything like that. We're talking about the definition as it applies. Listen to what it is that are written here, everybody. So look at it carefully so that you don't start to jump into conclusions, right? So, because that's what information security is, that in your own organization, right, you understand the data sets and whether it's information assets or physical assets that contain certain kinds of information that must be kept confidential. That means that thing must only go between authorized entities. The guarantee that an unauthorized person cannot see it. And this is very important because when people learn these things, you know what happens? They learn these things because it's almost like because they want to pass an interview. You understand? So they learn them from a theoretical perspective. So they can quote them, they can define them. The African educational system that is very big on definitions. They say, can you define it? And the person starts to define confidentiality. Or the person starts to define integrity. Or the person starts to define availability. So it's good to be able to define. Absolutely. It's good to be able to define. But this thing is definitely more than just definition. It has to be. Information security is not, it starts with some kind of theoretical background, but it moves into the practical application of these things. So how do you, if you look at what it is that I've said, how do you interpret and apply? That's what it is that are written there. The interpretation and the application of CIAP to your own business, to your own organization, to your own environment. And that's very important. Confidentiality, I put it in here, you can say. One very tricky one is availability. People think that availability is primarily information security, but it's not. It's not, right? It's not. It's not primary. The primary loss of availability is usually because something has gone wrong with some configuration, some functionality, and all that. And that's why you use monitoring tools like Nagios, like SolarWinds, and all those kinds of things. Are we together? But sometimes, maybe not more than 50% or even less, there is unavailability that has come from a security breach. And maybe people should give me their opinion in the chat room. What is the percentage of unavailability of systems that is caused? What is the percentage of unavailability that is caused by information security breach? Anybody? Anybody? What do you think? And you can check ChatGPT, right? I like this. Yes, you get the recorded sessions, right? Winnie, thank you very much. I like that. Anybody can, what is the percentage of unavailability? Because people think that unavailability is primarily people think that unavailability is primarily because of information security, but that's not true. That's not true at all. That's far from being true, right? The systems administrators here, they can tell you that every time that they had a downtime, was it from a security breach or was it from something that probably had to do with misconfiguration or the disaster recovery site failing? Was there an intruder, an attacker every time you had information security that you had unavailability? What is the percentage of unavailability that is caused by security breach, by infosec of cyber breach? Anybody? Please tell me, give me an answer. What is the percentage of unavailability that is caused by infosec or cybersecurity breach? What is that percentage? Right? Reality, like in reality, what is the percentage? All right, what is the percentage in reality? Anybody? I definitely think that it is less than 50% from my perspective. I think systems, applications, infrastructure go down normally because of configuration and functional settings and things like that, right? Less than 50% is my personal opinion. Okay, can I hear anybody give me an opinion around this? Anybody? Can I get anybody give me an opinion around this? What is the period? What is, because I want somebody from IT so that the person is really telling me from from experience that, you know, what is the percentage that is caused by a security breach? I think people will tell you that the link is down. Does it mean that information security was what went wrong? No. Sometimes it's just a capacity issue. IT has to deal with normal capacity and configuration issues. IT always has to deal with that. I know a lot of people have done training on these things, but your trainer or the person who taught you or your coach might not have captured this because they might not come from that kind of background. But I can tell you categorically, everybody, I can promise you that the information security breach is not really the core reason why systems go down. Simon, maybe you're Simon, maybe you're one of the people that said that, oh, you're like an IT admin or system admin. You will know, right? So, okay, good. So you can see Simon and Olatunji saying that maybe 30%. So, but you know, because information security people always tell everybody that, oh, you know, CIA, Also, because, but I can tell you that most of the C, I completely agree, 100% information security, integrity, mostly information security, because information security means that what? It's this, you want to keep secure because you're thinking about what? You're thinking about uh, fraud, hackers, uh, thieves of some sort, right? Fraudulent people. But I can tell you that that's not the only reason why you have all sorts of issues. Sometimes you have issues just from mistakes, just from things that went wrong. Anyways, that's that. So everybody, now somebody was asking me privacy. We're going to talk about privacy, I think, on Thursday, and we're going to dissect the Kenya data protection document. We're going to dissect it because privacy is not equal to cybersecurity. Let me tell you that. Most people who do cybersecurity or information security think that automatically privacy is theirs. That's not true. Maybe data protection is theirs, but not privacy, right? Privacy, I don't even necessarily accept, right, that the DPO, the data protection officer of an organization, should be equal to the CISO. In fact, GDPR, everybody, let me put that in the chat room. GDPR does not expect that information security, sorry, that the DPO will be the CISO. That is anti-GDPR. Did you hear that, everybody? Right? According to GDPR, right? According to GDPR, right? The CISO should not be the data protection officer of the organization. Did you hear that? Everybody of the organization. According to GDPR, the CISO. So, you know, in Africa, the CISOs have taken it that they are automatically, they should be the data protection officer of the organization. That's not true. That's not true. That's not correct. According to GDPR, the CISO should not be the data protection officer of the organization, the DPO, because privacy and data protection goes beyond just what it is that the CISO looks at. Can the CISO do it? Absolutely. Can the CISO become the data protection officer? Yes. But is it compulsory that it must be them? No, I don't agree with you. Right? So privacy, and we're going to talk about that. So don't allow me not to go ahead of myself, because privacy is about the protection, right, of PII. That's it. Right? So when you and I are talking about CIAP, when we now get to the privacy, we talk about everything about, or maybe not even the protection, or well, maybe I should not use just protection. Let me use two words. Better still, the protect. Let me put it this way: PII management and protection, right? Because it's more than just protection. So, as I said, don't allow me go ahead of myself. On Thursday, I'm going to discuss this. What does PII mean? Personally identifiable information, everybody. Personally identifiable information. Are we good? Are we good? Now, before I leave this page, I also want to talk about data and information categories. You know, I'm going to try to cramp into 4 hours what I normally will do for 4 days. So I'm going to cramp 4 days worth of work into 4 hours, 2 hours today and 2 hours tomorrow, right? Now, one of the things you really want to do in your organization is to identify all the things that are on my screen between numbers 1 to 9. And a lot of people don't do that. These days, I'm an auditor. I spend all my time auditing organizations. I'm part retired, so but I do a lot of. My team does a lot of audit. I show up there from time to time and things like that. So one key thing that I see that organizations don't do when it comes to the groundwork, when it comes to the fundamentals, when it comes to the the initial work they should be doing. One of the things that I see that organizations don't do is they don't identify numbers 1 to 9. Everybody, they don't do what? They do not identify numbers 1 to 9. And when your organization has not appropriately identified 1 to 9, then you're going to have a problem. When your organization has not adequately identified 1 to 9, then you're going to have the problem. That's a promise. Once your organization has not adequately identified 1 to 9, then you're going to have a problem. So it's important that you, as an organization, you ask yourself, where are these types of data sets in my own organization? Where on earth are they? Where, on which servers? On which boxes? Where exactly are these things? Because you must be able to do that. So because sometimes when people say, oh, it's a protection of information, what I tell the people is, what information specifically are you referring to? Are you talking about employee data? Are you talking about customer data? Are you talking about KYC information? Are you talking about account opening information? Are you talking about financial documents? Are you talking about supplier records? What exactly are you referring to when you say, oh, information security is to protect or to secure? Secure what type of information and what type of data set? A lot of people never have an answer to this. A lot of people don't have an answer to this. Secure what exactly? What are you trying to secure? Are you certain you know what exactly you're trying to secure? And once again, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. This is something you really want to take into keen consideration. This is a big deal. And if you indeed want to do information security, this background needs to be there. You need to be crystal clear with regard to everything that is on my screen. There's so many misconceptions about information security. And most people, they do information security badly. I mean, I can tell you that for free. I go to different clients all the time. I can tell you that they do information security very badly. Most people do information security very badly. That is something I can tell you for sure. So don't just do information security because you're trying to cram a couple of things. Don't do information security because you're trying to pass an exam. Don't do information security just because you want to put something on LinkedIn. Do information security because you want to ensure that the organization that you work for is safe and secure. That some of the asset types that I have identified here, that you can beat your chest, that you put in the right controls tied to these asset types. Whether the information is in an ERP, whether it's on SharePoint, whether it's on a document management system, whether it's even on whether they're physical folders, physical files and folders like number 5. This is what you're trying to protect, everybody. And I hope this is clear. Are we good? I hope this is clear. So if you really want to start to look at some of the key things, I'll talk about DORA, right? I'll talk about the DORA also if I get the chance, as it is, right? So anyways, that's fine. Can I move on from here, everybody? I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear, right? So I hope this is clear. So everybody in the chat room, what's your big learning point here? Quickly, tell me. What's your big learning point here, everybody? What is your big learning point here? But is there any learning point for you here? Is there any learning point for you here, everybody? Is there anything? Please go to the chat room. If there is anything here, please go to the chat room. Please go to the chat room. If there's anything at all for you here, please go to the chat room, share your thoughts and your opinion, share with me. Is there anything you learned here? Because there's so many there's so many wrong assumptions that people make. It's because sometimes the people who are teaching these things, they're teaching them from a textbook, or they can't articulate what is reality from what, you know, what is it that a textbook is saying. But here, we're really looking at what is it? What exactly is this thing called information security? Right? What exactly? Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Yes. What is the type? What is the information and where does it sit? You can't just say the protection of information. That's too broad. That's too theoretical. Thank you very much, Cornelius. Yes. So this is not theoretical. Think I love you cannot protect what it is that you don't know. If you don't know where the things are, how on earth are you going to protect it? If you haven't looked at it to say where exactly, what is the end-to-end process for customer information? What is the end-to-end process for staff and employee information? What's the end-to-end process for card and payment information? What is the end-to-end for e-business transactions? Where is everything that has got to do with physical paper in our organization? Memos, financial records. Where exactly are these things? How are you going to protect these things? So when we come to number 9, you must be able to tie numbers 1 to 8 to number 9, everybody. That's the other thing. You must clearly, confidently be able to tie numbers 1 to 8 to number 9. And that's a lot of work. Because, I mean, what I mean is that number 1 to 4 and number 6 to 8. You must be able to tie them to number 9. Because you have to. Because number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 7, number 8, they are all inside of number 9. So do you really understand where exactly they are? Do you know where they are? Because this is important, this is critical, and this is essential. And if you don't understand this, you're definitely going to have a problem. If your organization is struggling here, you're not really doing information security. Once again, a lot of people talk about these things. A lot of people, they gist about them. But you must know where exactly and what is the end-to-end process, right? I can edit this. Let me see. Give me 1 second, right? So you can say, let me put it here. Where exactly and what processes are involved? Where exactly and what processes are involved? Because ordinarily, so let me do this to make it easier. Let me do this. Put this here. Good. Yeah. So that way. So that means 1 to 8. 1 all the way to 8. Right? You must know exactly where exactly are all processes. Where exactly are they? And what processes are involved? This is why you must understand there's a lot for you to know and to understand if you really are going to get information security right. There's a lot that you need to know and that you need to understand if you're going to get it. Because 1 to 7 is what I wanted to write here. Beg your pardon. 1 to 7, you must know where exactly they are. Within 9. So where exactly is 1 to 7 within 9? Because in modern day, most things are digital, isn't it? Most things are digital. Most things are digital. So you must know exactly where is one, where is two, where's three, where's four, where's five, where's six, where's seven within number nine. That means you must really understand where exactly these things are. Let me go away from here because of time, right? I hope these things are clear. Everybody, so on this page, right? Your general let me just say your knowledge of these things. Tell me, everybody in the chat room, tell me uh, what you score. Yeah, everybody. Everybody, quickly. Just give yourself a score over 10. Everybody, give yourself a score over 10. Everybody. How many of these things do you really know and understand? I'll give you one or a minute. I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from everybody. Give yourself a score over 10. Give yourself a score over 10, everybody. Give yourself a score over 10. Don't worry, there's no problem. You don't have to score any big mark. Give yourself a score over 10. Everybody. Everybody. Give yourself a score over 10. Okay, good, good, good. Because, some people say 7, some people say, I mean, I'm not marking it, so anything you say is fine. But my point is, I mean, these are some of the fundamentals you need to know. Thank you very much. Everybody's got different scores. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. These are some of the key things you need to know, and you need to know them confidently. Because everything here is information security, everybody. So if you're doing information security, this is like a checklist you can use. This is information security. This is information security. Real information security. We're not joking here. We're not playing. This is real work. Your ability to be able to prove that within your organization that everything here is secure. Right. So, as I said, now this is information security. This is a checklist. Do you know a lot of people don't even care about their website security because what they can't find a control sometimes within 27001 that speaks about it. Right? Can you help me mute that person, please? So a lot of people sometimes they don't care about number one because they don't have a test for number one. A lot of people don't really even have proper solutions, licensed solutions, and adequately deployed. You know, I'm very careful with the use of my words. Licensed solutions, adequately secure, adequately provisioned and configured. A lot of people don't have that. For number two, people sometimes get number three right because, of course, they've got some kind of integrated firewall or they have a firewall. Do you know that most companies have a problem with number 4 and definitely number 5? We used to do something, or I used to do something called Active Directory risk management service from Microsoft. Do you know that I barely have seen an organization that can pass Active Directory risk? It used to be called ADRAP. You can check it out. You can Active Directory risk assessment, something like that. Program, yes. ADRAP. I used to do that a long time ago. You know that hardly can anybody ever pass when it comes to a proper audit and review of the directory system. You know, even inside of 27001, number 7 is part of it. Number 8 is part of it. I'll show it to you in a minute. Yes, people might not, some people don't struggle with number 9, but most people will definitely struggle with 4, 5, and 6. Advanced organizations don't struggle with 9. Okay? They don't struggle with 9. But some organizations still struggle there. And then can you see the number of things that are put inside of 10? Do you know I've jam-packed number 10. I've put so many things inside of 10. So many things that I've lumped together. Because all those things that are inside of 10, they're a lot. You know, the controls for an operating system is control. Let me put this right. I think I shouldn't call it physical. Virtual. Yeah. Okay. You know, it's a separate set of controls to secure operating system. It's a separate set of controls to secure your virtual machines. It's a separate set of things to secure applications, to secure databases, to secure your middleware, and to get your API security right. These are like, there's like 6 different things that are there. Apart from, right? Okay, actually, this is the right thing for me to have done. Okay. Plus, in addition to the things that have got to do with your physical and virtual environment. Well, this is, if you're going to do information security, then you should do information security. If your plan is to ensure that your organization is safe and secure, then you need to be able to sit and stand in front of anybody and everybody and tell them categorically what you have done to ensure security from numbers 1 all the way to 10. Confidently, which also means that you must have been able to identify the vulnerabilities, the threats, and how you can ensure what you have done to keep the organization secure. Information security is not just about passing exams. People think that this is about exams. Information security is not just about, you know, what's that thing? They say you fake it till you make it or something along those lines. Right? I was speaking to one of my younger friends. Said he went for something in the privacy and data protection. I said, but you don't. It's not your area of expertise. Why would you want to even do that? Because you're going to expose the organization to fines, to all sorts of things. Information. I don't even think information security is one of those things you say that you figure it out along the way. Just be praying that the organization does not get attacked. You can't figure it along the way. There's specific things that you need to know to do on day 1. But that's fine. Let me move on very quickly, right? And you can share your thoughts once again in the chat room with me. This is not a radio conversation. I expect that people will be giving me their feedback. So, I mean, because the other thing is that we're all very knowledgeable people, but do we know exactly what to do to keep number 3 safe and secure for our own organization? Very few organizations can really beat their chest around number 4 and number 5. Very few. There's certain controls everywhere around number 10. That means there are actions to take. Information security is not just about PowerPoint or Excel. There's specific things that need to be done. That's why everybody should go and look at something called CIS benchmarks. Now, everybody, let's see, go and open CIS benchmark for Windows 10 or Windows 11. You see a couple of things in there that is compulsory that you must put in place if you want to guarantee. So the CIS guys, they create benchmarks for different technology platforms. So CIS benchmarks for SQL Server, CIS benchmark for Cisco routers or Cisco switches. Key things, like a checklist of things that you must do compulsorily to keep those platforms safe and secure. We good? Are we good? I move on because of time. I included a couple of other things here, everybody. I included a couple of other things here. included a couple of other things here. These are the fundamentals if you say you want to do information security. It's not about a role. You know, sometimes people fight and quarrel. Oh, you're not calling me CISO, I'm CISO, all that, right? I mean, that's not what it is. It's not about somebody having a big name. Blessing, please, is that you? Mistakenly or not, unintentionally, please stop writing on my screen, I beg of you. Right? Do you really think most customers can pass number 11? They can really tell you the controls they put in place relative to internally developed applications, relative to their development process, relative to their development code repository. How many companies do you really think can pass number 11? Really? Like, really? Very few companies. Do you really think that people test number 16? Very few people. How many of you doing information security here? You've seen a report tied to number 17, everybody. Have you seen a report before that is tied to number 17 for any organization? How many CISOs take number 17 as part of their jobs? Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, this is information security. These are the things that should be going through your mind. This is information security. It's not written like this in any documentation anywhere. But from my own knowledge, from my own experience, I put this together. My top 20. Guarantee me that these 20 things, you've addressed them with evidence, then you're practicing information security. If you cannot guarantee that, then you're probably not practicing information security. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? All right. Some organizations have got great dashboards. That'll be good. If your organization is one of those companies that has got a great dashboard, all right? And you can get dashboards with most solutions, but it also needs special configuration so that the dashboard can report accurately. I always tell people that people talk about garbage in, garbage out, right? Which is, they call it GIGO, am I right? But I have formed something else. It's called NINO. Nothing in, nothing out. So if nothing is going in, nothing is going to come out. So I've created mine. So the dashboard looks nice, but it's only feeding on data. If you don't put the data on the dashboard, it's not going to work. In modern day, you can't do information security except you understand this stack. It is a stack. It's not just somebody will say IS and SAS. I'm not asking this that, but do you understand how you need to secure each layer? Because there's a certain type of security control that is needed at each layer. So it's good for you to understand how the cloud works. And that's why that standard called 27017 and the CSA security, they're actually very difficult to implement, because the way you're going to implement the controls for SaaS is different from PaaS, is different from IaaS, different from on-prem. Well, maybe on-prem does not really come in within those controls, but it's different from IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So security is layered. See, if you're going to do security, then do it properly, right? If you're going to do it, then do it properly. Okay? So depending on the type of operating system, depending on the type of database, depending on the type of runtime engine, depending on the type of virtual machines, depending on the type of compute infrastructure, depending on the type of storage. There are key differences when you're working with, what's that thing called, AWS, versus when you're working on Azure. There's certain differences in there. Even the naming convention is different for some of their features. I'm gonna move on very quickly. Right. I got this from COVID. and I'll talk about it later. I mean, we have only about 30 more minutes, and I will bring today's session to a close. But these are all metrics that I extracted from COVID, everybody. These are all metrics. So if you're here and you're already doing information security, or you hope to do information security, you need to be able to provide the measures for these metrics. If you're here, you're already doing information security, or you hope to do information security, you should be able to provide the measures for these metrics. I didn't create this. This is global. It's from COVID. Just like, in Africa, we love qualifications. So the people, they are PMP certified, but they're not familiar with PMBOK, which is the methodology. In Africa, a lot of people have CISA qualification, but they're not familiar with COVID documentation. COVID is the methodology. CISA is the exam. PMBOK is the methodology. PMP is the exam. But we pass exams, but we're not very familiar with the methodologies. So this is from COVID. COVID has two areas in there. COVID has got two areas in there for information security, or for security. One of the ones under APO, and one of the ones under DSS. So these are the metrics. So that's why sometimes when I'm auditing organizations and I'm seeing what they're doing, I'm always shaking my head like, do these guys really understand what it is that they're doing? Like, are you just doing this for doing sake, or you really understand what this is? Are you doing this for doing sake, or you really understand this? Right? So how will you get the right measures? Because every time you tell me that, sometimes when I go to clients, they just tell me, oh, this is 50%, or nobody people actually puts 50%. They always put 100% everywhere. So just put 100%. The next thing I'm going to ask you is that, where is the source data? Let me review and validate the source of the data that you used in completing this. Then the people are staring right at me. The source data. Once again, information security is big. This is from the other one. This is all from COVID. I didn't create this. This is from DSS 05. It says, if you're doing information security, you should be able to provide the measures tied to these metrics. They've given these metrics. They're crystal clear. And these 26, 7 plus 19, you should be able to give validated measures tied to these things. Validated measures tied to these metrics. You say you're doing information security and you don't know this, then there's a problem. And you don't have these things, then there's a problem. There's a problem. You should know these things. Things you should know them, should be familiar with them. What exactly are the measures tied to these metrics? Right. The last thing I'm going to do today, everybody, is on this page. And we'll call it a day. All right. This is the last thing I'm doing today. The last thing I'm doing today, and then we can call it a day. Okay. This is the last thing I'm doing today, and we can call it a day. Okay. All right. Good, good, good. All righty. I've got a couple of meetings after now, so I'm just trying to clarify these things. All right, go ahead. Now, if you're not a technical person, you're a lawyer, you're in procurement, you studied whatever that thing is, you can do information security, because there's a technical side and there's a non-technical side. And I hope you're listening to me. So don't say because I'm a lawyer, I'm a medical doctor, whatever that thing is, I can't do this, right? No, you can do information security irrespective of your background. You can. The only challenge is, are you going to do the technical or the non-technical side of information security? Because the information security has got a technical side and it's got a non-technical side. So I have this, let me come here, hold on, let me show you something here, okay, here. Now, tomorrow, I will talk to you about A5, A6, A7, and A8. I will speak to you about those ones tomorrow. But today, I'm only going to speak to you about, I'm going to conclude this class with clauses 4 to 10, which I have named the governance and management of information security. That's what I've named it. The governance and the management of information security. And what is there is not technical. So for people who want to go into information security, not everything there is technical. You can do information security and not be a technical person. You can. You can do information security and not necessarily be a technical person. It's good that you bear that at the back of your mind, right? So, but the people that are not very technical, so for example, everybody that is in HR needs to do information security because Annex A6 is for HR people. I never agree to speak to any other person when I'm doing an audit apart from somebody that is in HR for Annex A6. It's for HR. It's primarily for HR. A7 ordinarily is for the physical security person. Ordinarily, A7 is just for the person that is in physical security. Okay? And so organizations have the people that they call CSO, Chief Security Officer. In a place like Ghana, they like to use former military, former police to do it. Right? Those people are seated sometimes they're seated in admin. Sometimes they're seated in logistics or in physical security. So the CISO cannot do A7 all by themselves. The CISO cannot do A6 by themselves. They have to work with HR. The CISO has to work with IT when it comes to A8. The CISO has to work with procurement and compliance and other departments when it comes to A5. And then, right, the CISO has the responsibility to kind of drive that's clauses 4 to 10. And clauses 4 to 10 can be done by non-technical people. Are we together? Clauses 4 to 10 can be done by a non-technical person. And that's all I'm going to go through today. And then we will start again tomorrow, same time. So if you look at this, right, ISO 27001 is probably the most widely used global standard when it comes to information security. ISO 27001. Okay? And this portion is called the management clauses, clauses 4 to 10. It's called the management clauses, clauses 4 to 10. Are we together? If you come to 4 points, so it starts from clause 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay, sorry. Right. So if it starts from clause 4, what's the meaning of 4? You cannot implement this for an organization that you don't understand their strategy, you don't know who they are, you don't know what makes them unique. So under 4, you have 4.1. That refers to the context of the organization. They have said, the global information security standard says, you need to clearly understand the context of the organization and its context. If there are internal and external issues, so that you can customize information security to meet their needs and their requirements. I didn't write it, it's global. 4.2 says categorically. That means under 4.1, that means you need to start the piece of work with SWOT analysis, with personal analysis, to really understand who they are and what they do. And then you align to information security strategy. You need to ensure that information security solves certain issues for the organization. And most people don't know this. Most people don't take this into consideration. Most people are unaware of this. And that's an issue. If you get to 4.2, everybody, right, it says categorically here that if your organization is really doing information security or needs to start to do information security, that there must be a clear understanding of who your stakeholders are, otherwise called interested parties, and you need to know what their needs and their expectations are. The needs and the expectations of your interested parties. You cannot do information security if you don't understand the needs and the expectations of the interested parties tied to information security. How does information security help to meet everything that is meant to be anti-fraud, anti-hackers, anti-thieves, anti-stolen information? How does he address the threats? That's what this is. So you can't take a scattered approach to information security if you plan to get it right. You've got to take a very precise approach to information security. If you go to 4.3, it says what? In your adoption of this information security standard, you need to be clear what is part of your scope, initial scope. You can even break it into 5 phases or more, whatever number of phases, so that you say, oh, I'm only deploying on the first floor, then later second floor. You can say, I'm only deploying now at the HQ. But ordinarily, the entire organization needs to be in scope, ordinarily. But it does not have to be in scope on day one. The entire organization ordinarily should be in scope, but everything doesn't have to be in scope on day one. And I like 4.4, everybody. It calls it a system. It calls it a management system. That means many things are involved. Within that 4.4, within the standard, it talks about the interaction of processes. And I like to look at that as some kind of architecture. And one of the things that will help you, everybody, if you open a browser, especially if you have a computer, and type Microsoft MCRA, everybody, quickly. Now, that's something that if you're an information security professional, you should know. MCRA. It's called the Microsoft. It's called the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architecture. You should know that, because under 4.4, it says that what is the interaction of your information security processes? A lot of people don't have an answer to that. The interaction of your information security processes. People don't have an answer to that. They've got no answer to that. All right, I move on very quickly because of my time. Everything rises and falls on leadership is what Mr. Maxwell said. All right, so if the leadership is not on board, information security is automatically hampered. I have a client right now. Most things are not done properly. They have not signed their policies. We've been waiting to audit them for months on end. Because why? The leadership has changed and and there's no real commitment. And people think that money is the only commitment. They think 7.1, everybody, is the only commitment. But that's not true. The leadership must approve and sign off on the policies. 5.2. The leadership must even appoint the right people as the head of steering committee, as the CISO. The leadership needs to be involved with everything. That's why, as I said, Mr. John Maxwell said, everything rises and falls on leadership. If the leadership is not committed to the project, you're going to suffer. If leadership is not committed to cyber and information security, there's going to be an issue. But I move on very quickly to 5.2. You're meant to have a policy. And there's a difference between having the overall policy versus the specific policies. Those are two different things. There is the overall information security policy that it's different from the policy for mobile devices, the policy for HR, the policy for passwords. Those are specific policies. It's different from this one that is in 5.2 that is talking about the overall policy for information security. So tomorrow when we come and I'm dealing with everybody, can you see my screen? Can you see 5.1? This is A5.1. Now, can you see it talks about policies, plural, for A5.1. This is now the one that is speaking about specific policies, all sorts of specific policies. And it's possible that you might even have like 100 specific policies in some organizations. Yes, it's very possible. You can have 100 specific policies. Okay, but this is not the individual's policies. This is the overall policy, and it's not a secret. In Africa, we like to keep everything as a secret. It's your statement of commitment. Within it is your statement of commitment. There is a structure. There is an agreed structure which a policy needs to have. In 5.3, it says, you and I need to have a great steering committee, and a steering committee that is educated, a steering committee that is interested. Sometimes people have steering committees that don't even care about information security. They just have a steering committee for having sake. They just put something up for putting up sake. It's not because they really want to get information security right. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. Okay? And when it comes to 6.1, I wish I had all the time in the world. I can show you how to do proper risk assessment. And the standard is very clear. You have to do the negative side and you have to do the opportunity side, because there's a lot of opportunities for information security to add value to the organization. Some people ask me, doctor, tell me how. Everybody pull up your phones, go to WhatsApp AI and ask a simple question. Just ask, now, what exactly are the opportunities for information security to add value to an organization? Or you can ask, what are the specific opportunities by which information security can add value to my bank, can add value to, you can mention the type of organization and see what it gives to you. Somebody should please put that in the chat room. So you can also ask, that my organization is a financial, we're an insurance company, we're a bank, we're this, we're that, right? That for us as an organization, what are the top 10 information security threats that that an organization like us has to deal with? And those are very generic answers they'll give to you, because those answers do not really understand your own organization, but at least it's a great place for you to start. But those are not the things I would expect to see in your own documentation, because you're meant to be taking your own organization into consideration. That is why the beginning of everything, 4.1 says, understanding the organization and its own context, its own specific context, is critical if you're going to get information security right. But 6.1 says that you have to understand what is threatening you, which also means that you must understand your assets and what makes them vulnerable. If you go to 6.2, it's brilliant. It says what? You need to have clear objectives for information security and clearly articulated and documented plans to achieve those objectives. I hope you heard me. Clear objectives and clearly articulated and documented plans to achieve those information security objectives. 6.3 says you should be thinking about every kind of change. IT change, process change, people change, and planning for them, especially primarily because they affect information security. To plan for your changes and how do these changes affect information security. And all sorts of things affect information security. And you should track those changes. You should evaluate them and then respond to the changes. One employee has left the organization, and the employee has all the usernames and passwords, and nobody has taken the time or the pain to go change everything. That's what we mean by planning of changes. A new system has been updated and has been updated with certain vulnerability. That's what we mean by planning of changes. Because people misinterpret 6.3. As I said, this is my job. So I see people make mistakes with these things all the time. They think the whole of 6.3 is equal to only IT changes. That's a misconception. That's wrong. Very wrong. If you go to 7.1, you need resources if this is going to work. You need money. You need systems. You need time as a resource. No, people never think about that. So they will go in their organization, they'll give a guy who already puts in 40 hours on his day job, and then they'll tell him that he also has to do information security. How? Time is a resource. Time is a huge resource. And most organizations don't have enough resources to drive information security. You need competent people, and competence is not just by education. Education is important. Expertise is better. Skills and expertise. If you have a PhD in cybersecurity, it doesn't help an organization if you don't know exactly what to do the day you get to work. So it's not just about people misinterpret. That's why I started this session with, right? I said here, education is good. Expertise skills is better. Hands-on. Experience is essential, but you also need exposure. So when we say competence, you can't just assume that competence is equal to qualifications or certifications. You need experience, you need exposure, you need expertise or skills. Everybody in your organization needs to do some kind of awareness. Everybody. Information security awareness. You can create yours, you can leverage open source. Microsoft used to have an information, so they released it during COVID, but I think they're taking it off. Information security awareness. Can somebody check for me? And then you can share, but I don't think it's up any longer. So you might even find some free awareness courses. You can go on to Allison, you can go on to, I'll share a site with you for everybody to take a certain exam. You can do those things. Awareness is key. I think a lot of people, especially in Ghana, they buy Know Before. You can check it out. But I mean, I think everybody should go to the Know Before website. If you go under their resources or something, there's a tab in there. There's loads of free materials that you can even leverage. I'm not even talking about you paying for Know Before, but there's a lot of free stuff that they've given there that you can leverage on Know Before for awareness. Communication is key. You need to leverage social media. You need to communicate with your internal and external customers. You need to leverage the intranet. You need to send mails to your high net worth clients, to the regulators, to your partners. You need to let them know your stand with regards to information security and how they should conduct their affairs in such a way that it's not anti the information security posture of your own organization. That's why we do communication. And if you go to 7.5, it says there's always documentation involved. I told somebody, I said, in as much as on this human earth, they call something an office, right? Then there's always documentation that is involved. Every kind of office involves documentation. Whether the documentation ends up being physical or being Microsoft Word, Excel, PDF documents. So you can't manage documents like, anyhow you want to manage them. You can't do that. You have to name them appropriately. You have to control who has access to them. You have to identify them properly. You have to save and store them appropriately. Documented information is a big deal. It's a big deal. If you come with me quickly to 8.1, it is how the information security officer or the CISO plans his work. Information security officer or the CISO, this is how he plans his work. What he will do for the whole year, his reports. This is important. This is critical. This is essential. Okay? How does it plan to do everything for the year? You must have a plan for his whole year. You can't do information security haphazardly. You can't just wake up and say, oh, this week, this is what I'm going to do. Oh, next week, that's what I'm going to do. You need to have a plan. That's why 8.1 is there. You need to have a plan, patches, training, meetings, risk assessment, reports. And then, of course, you will then find a what I would like to call a deeper version of 6.1. You find that in 8.2 and 8.3. So most people don't understand this, and they combine 6.1 with 8.2 and 8.3, but ordinarily it could be different. The idea behind 6.1 ordinarily is meant to be risk assessment for clauses 4 to 10, while 8.2 and 8.3 is meant to belong to the annex. Let me show you this slide again, this one. This one. So in a sense, the risk assessment for 6.1 is meant to be tied to clauses 4 to 10, while the 8.2 and 8.3 is meant to be tied to Annex A, ordinary. That means 8.2 and 8.3 ordinarily should take A5, A6, A7, A8 into keen consideration, different from 6.1 that is ordinarily meant to be focused on clauses 4 to 10, which is what we're doing. But people mix them, and it's fine if you mix them, but there's an original intent. And if you do 8.2, then there must be a treatment. The idea behind risk is to identify what can go wrong, tied to the annex controls, and to put in place the right treatment and to execute the treatment to time and to quality. To execute the treatment to time and to quality. I've already spoken to you about 9.1. This is an example of 9.1, everybody. This one. This is an example of 9.1. Monetary measurement, analysis, and evaluation. Monetary measurement, analysis, and evaluation. For you to say, this is what we got out of it. So you must have the right metrics. And this is also an output of 9.1, everybody. Your dashboard reports it for information security is tied to 9.1. Tied to 9.1. 9.2 is internal audit. And I'm hoping you can bring internal auditors in your organization. Because the problem is that most internal auditors don't know they don't know these things. So they can't do a great internal audit. Because you passed CISA exam does not mean you're going to be able to do this audit. It's a specialized kind of audit. It requires a certain kind of training, and then requires certain kinds of expertise and experience and exposure if you're going to be able to do it appropriately. So audit is exception management. Everything that has gone wrong, that's audit. And then 9.3. So there's a strong link between 5.1, 5.3, and 9.3. The leadership that have certain roles relative to 5.3, all are meant to be involved in 9.3, everybody. The leadership that have certain roles and responsibilities, all of them are meant to be involved with 9.3. And I think the best way for you to handle 9.3 is to make sure you've got great dashboards that you use for reporting, and you do it every month or every quarter. I think that's the best way to do it. Actually, I know that's the best way to do it. So information security is not treated as a standalone. It's treated in conjunction with all the other stuff. In 10.1, everybody, in 10.1, it calls it continual improvement. And the idea behind that is that you're meant to be getting to higher levels of maturity. And most organizations, they don't know how to do 10.1. They don't even do 10.1. they assume that 10.1 is something that the auditor has pointed out. But the auditor cannot point everything out. The auditor also cannot see everything, both internal and even external auditors. You must have some way by which you're trying to benchmark yourself against higher levels of maturity and capability. So everybody can open a browser and type CMMC 2.0. You'll find it in there. They use it in the US a lot. For the monitoring of your, for your maturity assessment. And lastly, the idea is everything that has gone wrong between 4.1 and 10.1. You capture them somewhere and you address them. It's really as simple as that. Everything that you're doing well, you're doing badly between 4.1 and 10.1, you capture them. The auditor, the same gentle people in 9.2, are the ones who are meant to be involved in 10.2. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I think, I hope that this has been 2 hours well spent. I hope this has been 2 hours well spent. So please, before you go, attendance, and then finally your big takeaway for today. Quickly, if you're here, that's the only payment I'm asking for, right? That's the payment I'm asking for, right? Please fill the attendance form and also share with me what's your big takeaway today. I've been speaking for quite a bit. I started from here, I think I started here today. And we spent quite a bit of time here, me just trying to lay the proper foundation for this work that we're doing. And then we did this, we did this, very important. Then we did this, I think, yes, this. So we've gone through that. We also did this, we did all this, and then we focused on this place. So everybody, tell me what's your big takeaway as a person quickly in the chat room as we bring this to a beautiful close for today. You can tell your colleagues, especially if you live in Kenya, if you live in Nairobi, if you live anywhere in Kenya at all, you can avoid, all right? This was done primarily for the Kenyan audience, but we also have people that are coming from different places. We're going to continue tomorrow, 12 p.m. Nigerian time, 2 p.m. Kenyan time, and we'll take the conversation forward. But before you all go, I need you to fill the attendance and I need you to give me some feedback quickly, everybody, quickly. Feedback. I'll share the slides at the end of the week, is there a problem? Praise Benjamin. Okay, no problem. We'll speak about it. It's not a problem. Right? Our training is because usually we need a crowd, right? We need a crowd. We always have to have minimum of 10 people, otherwise we can't run the class. But Prince, I'm sure will speak, so it's not a problem. And Prince, if you're based, as I said, everybody that is based in Nairobi, I'm having cybersecurity drinks on Friday, being organized by my colleague Marvin, who's based here in Nairobi. So we're organizing drinks. So if you're in Nairobi and you're available, I think 5 p.m. on or 6 p.m. on Friday, we'll be having drinks. So it'll be nice to see you guys. Everybody, thank you very much, Kevin. Yes, we will share the slides, not a problem. Enam, thank you. Thank you very much, Enam. Thank you. Thank you. Arnold. Right, absolutely. Absolutely, Arnold. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the Alafia tire. Right. Absolutely. You know, this is not LinkedIn. This is not marketing. We're talking about doing real work. This is not LinkedIn. We're talking about, yeah. Oh, yes. There's a cybersecurity drink. So, yeah, if you're in Nairobi, yes, definitely. Drinks on me on Friday. Right? Okay, thank you very much, Winnie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so just so that I mean, there's a lot out there, but yeah, people make a lot of mistakes. But I think I'm favored. I have about 100 clients that I service every year on information security, so I should know. Yeah. Thank you very much, Tessie. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Tess. Eldred. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people don't really know what is inside of the COVID. They don't even know where to find the COVID Excel document and where to extract those things from. So yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Follower. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's just the closest 4 to 10. Tomorrow we'll look at some of the other areas. Right. Okay. Alima, thank you very much. Okwala, thank you very much. Who else is here? Who else is here? I mean, that's many people, lots of people on the call. Please share your thoughts with me. We'll meet again 12 to 2 tomorrow. Anybody? All right. Okay, that's fine. Alima, all right. Tomorrow will be all right. All right. Simon, absolutely. In terms of 001, I mean, so I mean, it doesn't matter your background. You can. You just need to know, the basics. You need to know certain things. So of course, at some point in time, we might do like a big 1 week class or something like that. But I mean, that will be dependent on the number of people who show interest. Right. Yes. Thank you very much, Ricky. Victor, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Who else is here? Who else is here? Please, all right. So if you're coming, we'll set up a form for those that are coming for drinks on Friday, so that the cybersecurity drinks on Friday. We would have spent the whole week talking about cybersecurity. It'd be nice for us to round up the week with having drinks. So that would be good. All right. Thank you very much, Victor. Any other person? Can I get feedback from some other people? And then we can bring today to a beautiful close. We're going to share some links, but it's via the attendance. So please fill the attendance form and also ensure that you put your right email or whatever that thing is, because we're going to share a couple of things via the attendance form. So please, that's the only way you will know the people that are actually here. No cyber security drinks for those that's in Kenya. This time I prioritize the people in Kenya in Nairobi. Well, don't worry, we'll do something similar in Accra soon, and maybe something in Lagos. Cybersecurity drinks Friday. Yes, absolutely. Jackie, thank you very much. Esther, yes, please share the Bomari, share the attendance form. We'll share the recordings. It's not a problem. We're actually going to put it on YouTube, so it's not a problem. We're actually going to put it on YouTube. So once we have it's completed, we'll put it on YouTube. We'll share it. It's not a secret. I mean, hey, it's not a. I mean, the cybersecurity is a long thing, right? It's very deep and all that. So a 2 hour session. I can share a lot of my experience, but there's still a lot. So Frank, not a problem. We'll put it on YouTube. We'll share the links with you. Okay. Attendance form. Attendance form. Somebody put the attendance again for me. Okay, I have a lot of people here. Some people are not saying anything. We need to bring this to a beautiful close now, right? So once again, you can tell your work colleagues to come on the call tomorrow. It'd be nice to have them. Okay, thank you. It's been shared. It's been shared. Please give me your feedback as we go. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Just give me your feedback. We've come to the end of the class for today. You can still drop your feedback. There's so many people here from different places. It's really nice to actually have your feedback so that I also know what else I might want to drill down into, focus on, and things like that. So pretty much. All right, people. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. User or Miss User. I don't even know. So, User, you can put your right name so that we'll know what to call you tomorrow. All right. You shouldn't be here in stealth mode. Right. Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Okay. All right. Okay, no problem, Sean. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Any other person? All right, people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. It will get more interesting as the days go by. We're going to talk about cybersecurity on Wednesday. I'm definitely looking forward to Thursday, where I'm going to do a lot of the privacy side of things. I'm going to do that on Thursday. And I think I'll just do PCI DSS on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'll decide which one should come first. Maybe PCI DSS before we then do the privacy. So I would like to do privacy on Friday and do PCI maybe on Thursday. Okay. I'll do cybersecurity. We'll look at the NIST CSF on Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll conclude 27001. But I believe at the end of these sessions, you should be able to adequately and appropriately address information security in your own organization. Good. All right. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.